صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, you all are doing well. Thank you, everyone, for coming on time for program. Inshallah, since we've already had Quran recitation, we're going to skip like a surah recitation, and we'll go straight into poetry recitation. So, for recitation of Urdu poetry, I'd like to invite Brother Hassan Akhtar. So please welcome him with a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Salawat. This is Munqibat poetry about Imam Hassan alayhi salam. مد حسن عبادت پروردگار ہے، حب حسن مومن و دل کی بہار ہے. If you like it, you can say salawat. اللہم صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم. بے حس ہے آمد فرزند فاطمہ، بے چین ہے نبی بھی بڑا انتظار ہے. اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد. ہے فاطمہ کے گھر میں ایک ہلچل مچی ہوئی، باغ نبی میں مومنوں آئی بہار ہے. ہیں بھیجتے فرشتے سلامی پہ سلامی، ہیں بھیجتے فرشتے سلامی پہ سلامی، صلوات اہل بیت پہ لیل و نہار ہے. اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد. فرزند ہے علی کا اور فرزند نبی بھی، فرزند ہے علی کا اور فرزند نبی بھی، بھائی حسین کا وہ بہت باوقار ہے. اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد. ہے ذات پاک آیت تطہیر کی قسم، وہ پنجتن کے باغ اور پنجتن کے باغ میں اس کا شمار ہے. صلوات. اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد. ہے جانشین علی کا اور دوسرا امام، اس کے سبب دین کا چمن لالہ زار ہے. اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد. دشمن سے صلح کر کے جو دین کو بچا لیا، دشمن سے صلح کر کے جو دین کو بچا لیا، تاثیر میں تو صلح حسن ذوالفقار ہے. اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد. حب حسن ہدایت پروردگار ہے، سابق کرم مجتبیٰ کا خاص گار ہے. صلوات. اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد. تھینک یو.
Thank you, Brother Hassan Akhtar. Unfortunately, I don't think we have any other poetry recitation. I don't have anything in English, so we're going to, inshallah, continue with the main speech. Inshallah, if everybody can move towards the front, that would be good. And if we could recite a loud salawat for Shaykh as he comes towards the podium. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وبه نستعين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين، لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين، أرواحنا له فداء. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون صدق الله العلي العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First and foremost, I congratulate all of you on the auspicious occasion which we are celebrating, and that is the birthday of Imam Hassan Mushtaba alayhi afdal salatu wassalam. Inshallah, we'll highlight a few of the aspects about his life, and particularly as it pertains to the topic that we have chosen for this blessed month of Ramadan, and that is a discussion of the Hadith on Unwan Basri, because when we want to look at the example, or at least the advice that Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi afdal salatu wassalam, that he is given to Unwan Basri, advice that we should take for ourselves, we see no better example of this than the Imams themselves, each and every Imam. And that's where we've outlined the part where Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, he explained to Unwan Basri that if he wants to partake of the knowledge of Ahlul Bayt, or partake of knowledge in itself, true knowledge, then he must achieve a status of being a true servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to have what is called haqiqatul ubudiyya. And this is something that when we look at the lives of all of our Imams, all of the A'imma, when we look at the life of the Prophet, when we look at the life of Fatima Zahra, salamu alayha, and every single one of the Imams, alayhim afdal salatu wassalam, then this is something that we see that they have achieved, that they are true servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So just as a reminder, the Imam, he stated that the servant must have these three things, meaning that he sees whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him as Allah's, that he owns nothing, he or she owns nothing, and so therefore it is easy for them to give away, to do infaq, to give away things. Secondly, they must instill within themselves this idea or the principle of that they put all of their affairs in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And by doing this, then whatever the masa'ib, whatever the difficulties they face in this world, they become easy for that individual. And then third, they must engage with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded them, meaning that they are constantly engaged with the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and abstaining from the prohibitions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And by doing so, then they are not affected by what others have in their hands or what others have. They don't try to seek, they don't try to be prideful or boasting about what they have, nor do they feel bad that they are missing out on something because another person has. And likewise, as Imam, he states that once this quality has been instilled in that individual, the haqiqatul ubudiyya, they have achieved true servanthood of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, says that at that point, Iblis also has no effect on the servant. Meaning Iblis, his waswas and everything has no effect. Yes, this doesn't mean that Iblis doesn't stop trying to intimidate, but he's ineffective. Almost as like Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Very interesting narration, hadith that is related about the Prophet. When someone asks, he says, well, when the Prophet says, yes, Iblis comes and he does waswas, he says, everyone has their Iblis, everyone has their shaitan. Meaning those, whether it's shaitan min al-ins or jinn, shaitan from mankind or from among the jinn, who come and they try to sway an individual to do something that is wrong. Let's do something that is out of the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to move out of that. So the individual asks the Prophet, he says, and you have a shaitan as well? Comes and tries to persuade you? The Prophet says, yes. He says, and he hasn't been able to persuade you? The Prophet says, no. He says, why? Because he says, aslamtu shaitani. He said, I made my shaitan a Muslim. In other words, instead of being influenced by this shaitan, he influenced those who were trying to persuade him in the wrong way, and they have submitted. So if a person reaches this status of haqiqatul ubudiyya, Imam says, this is the first step. This is when he's ready to begin to truly learn. And what the Imam says after that, and really when we contemplate these words of the Imam, then what came to my mind is one of the statements of Hafiz. He says, of course we look at where we are and we see where we have to be. He says, and if we really see where we have to be and we assess where we are, he says, it should bring tears to our eyes. That look at the examples we have, again, the Prophet, the Imams, and where they're at and where we need to be, and look at where we are truly at. So the Imam, he states on Anwar al-Basri, he says, فَهَذَا أَوَّلُ دَرَجَةِ التُّقَى. Meaning to achieve the state of true servanthood of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, this is just the first step, the first level, and the first degree of taqwa. Simply to achieve these three things. To realize that what you have is not yours, it belongs to Allah. So you're easy to give it away. If it comes the time that you must give, you must do that infaq, it becomes easy for you. To achieve this understanding that, look, I am putting my affairs in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that my choices in life, my direction in life has been laid out for me by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so therefore I must choose that which is in the realm and the parameter of what He wants from me. And so therefore, whatever difficulties come my way in this life, it's easy. And then also to engage in my obligations and abstain from those things which are prohibited. He says, this is the first level of taqwa. And if we assess ourselves that perhaps we haven't even reached this first level of taqwa. So Imam says, and if you want to study, you want to really gain true knowledge from the Quran, from the Ahlul Bayt, this is the first step. And mashallah, alhamdulillah, we've gained understanding from Ahlul Bayt. Not to say that we have not been able to gain. No, we've gained. We've benefited from the different majalis, the weekend schools or other schools that we may attend, the books that we may read about the Ahlul Bayt, about the Quran, about the knowledge that they have imparted upon us. We read the du'as and we benefit from them. But then we should ask, particularly if Imam Sadiq, he's saying that if you want to gain this knowledge, true knowledge, first you instill within yourself this true state of servanthood. And at that point, you will really begin to benefit from the Quran. You will really begin to benefit from the knowledge of Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus salatu wassalam. So this should put this question in mind that, well, mashallah, whatever I have gained until now, have I really gained my true potential? Have I really understood the Quran to that true potential that I have, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has, again, instilled in us? Because this is not something that is impossible. The Imam is giving, when we read, and we'll go through the rest of the hadith, he's giving practical steps to Anwar al-Basri. So how do you achieve this? One of the things that we mentioned also yesterday, as the Prophet, he says, if you want to You want to be someone who is muttaqi, someone who is conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You just act based on your fara'id. وَعَمَلْ بِالْفَرَائِذ تُكُنْ أَتْقَى النَّاسِ. He says, simply if you do your obligations, you observe what is obligatory upon you, you abstain from that which is forbidden for you to do, he says, and you will be the most pious, you will be the most God-conscious individual. So it's not something that is impossible to achieve. So the Imam is not giving on one bus, oh, well, this is something impossible, I'm just making something very theoretical for you that you can't achieve. No, he's outlining, he says, you can achieve this. Just as the Bedouin, he told the Prophet, he says, well, if these are the things I have to do, he says, I won't do more, nor will I do less. I'll do exactly this. The Prophet says, and then you will have paradise. It's achievable. But this is the first step, as the Imam says. And so how far are we from achieving that? And then what are the various levels? If this is the first level of taqwa, then what are the other levels of taqwa? Some of our scholars have stated and they've outlined various degrees of taqwa. Among those degrees of taqwa are, as I say, taqwa ul-a'mal. Taqwa and God consciousness in your actions. Fil-a'mal. And the things that you do. Again, this will require that an individual, as he's acting, as he's choosing his way of life, as he's making his choice from day to day of what to do, what not to do, then those actions should be within the parameter of Islamic law, should be within the parameters of what you know is wajib, what is obligatory, what is recommended, what is mustahab, what is perhaps mubah, which is permissible, and it should not fall into those categories that are haram, that are forbidden. And he should try to abstain from those things which are makruh, which are reprehensive, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not like. So by observing these things, an individual can achieve taqwa al-a'mal, taqwa in his a'mal, taqwa fil a'mal. This is one of the levels of taqwa, of God consciousness. The next level of God consciousness, the degree of God consciousness, is considered taqwa fil qalb. Taqwa and God consciousness in one's heart. In other words, those things that you don't see, your actions are seen. As go back to that dua of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib, alayhi salatu wasalam. If we can relate this to the levels of taqwa, where he says, Allahumma nawwir dhahiri bita'atik, wa batini bimahabbatik. So enlighten my apparent actions with your obedience. To some extent, this is the taqwa fil a'mal. This is the first level or degree of taqwa. The second level of taqwa is in the heart. وَبَاطِنِي بِمَحَبَّتِكَ, and enlighten my inner state of being, my heart, with your love. In other words, that those things that we can't see, our actions, which are not maybe so apparent to everyone, but our thoughts, our inclinations, our desires, which, again, no one sees those things unless you manifest those things in your action. But as you're sitting quietly, as you're going through your day, as you see different things, and how is the state of your heart at that point? Is it conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or is it not conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? One of the advices we see that, or at least it's recorded as one of the advice that Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib, alayhi salatu wasalam, that he gave to his sons, Imam al-Hasan and Hussein. He told them, Allah, Allah, fi suq. Meaning, be conscious of Allah, be conscious of Allah. While you're in the market, while you're walking around. You're just going about your daily business, but Allah should be on your mind. He should be on your heart. Okay, you're not engaged in, maybe, apparently you're not engaged in dhikr. Some people, they walk around with their tasbeehs. And some people are doing dhikr, some people are just playing. It's a kind of a amusement for them. I've seen some people do that. They walk around, they're spinning their tasbeehs. And, yeah. But whether they are or not, they should be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That even if we're not making, or at least apparently making, our ibadah. And that's also one of the, you could say, one of the blessings about Ramadan. That it hasn't been recorded about any other month, that in the blessed month of Ramadan, even one's breathing is counted by the angels as a dhikr. They've been commanded to write that this is a dhikr when one is breathing. All these are, in some sense, a sign of, of encouragement to get us to come to that level, to that state where we are conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at every moment. And if we, at least for the duration of this month, understand and realize that our breathing itself, our sleeping, is also ibadah, then outside of the month of Ramadan, we should also try to have that consciousness that, in my every action, and even my breath, my breathing, my sleeping, I should be aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I should be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third level of taqwa that is mentioned by our scholars, they say that this is taqwa fil ma'rifah. Taqwa in understanding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being, again, to gain this profound knowledge and understanding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As he also alludes to in Surah Ali Imran, verse 102, he speaks to the believers, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullah haqqa tuqati. So, O you who believe, have consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way you should have consciousness of Him. And of course, you'll look at the other translation, they will say, fear Allah as you should fear Allah. And I want to go through the whole idea of this, what taqwa is. It's not simply fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but rather it is having consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, having consciousness of your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fearing that that relationship may sever, but having hope that it won't. That's taqwa, a station between fear and hope. It's not simply fear. So have this consciousness, O you who believe, have this consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as you should have consciousness. That consciousness to the point that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He should be on your mind. You should be conscious of Him. وَلَا تُمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. And do not leave from this world except for in the state of complete submission. Of course, they will say Muslim, but I want to drive this point of what is actually meaning as well. So having consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when a person gains that type of consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he or she should have, then that individual, yes, they will leave this world Musliman, in a true state of submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are the levels of taqwa. And on each level and each plane, and make no mistake about it, yes, one of the hurdles that may be in front of us in order to achieve that are the shayateen. Min al-jinni wal-ins, from among mankind and from among the jinn. So therefore, in order to try to achieve that state of taqwa, state of consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whereby in our actions, whereby in our thoughts, our personal thoughts, our feelings, our inclinations, and even in our understanding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whereby we are not being persuaded this way or that way, we're not blowing with the wind, then one of the things that we have to understand is the actions of shaitan. That, again, you cannot defeat an enemy that you don't know. If you don't know shaitan, you don't know his trickery, then how will you be able to defeat him? So as he is strategizing against us, then you must also have a plan. You must also have a strategy. And this is something that we should all be aware of. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He speaks about it in the Quran, that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He commanded everyone in the realm of the angels, the angelic realm, and Iblis, the chief of the shayateen, Iblis, he was among them. This is because he had served Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for thousands of years. So therefore, his state was elevated to the point that he also was in the realm of the angels. But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked him to prostrate, he refused. He refused. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He took him out of that state. Iblis was demoted. Well, all of your actions, all of your ibadah for thousands of years, because of this disobedience, it's finished. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi afdhalu salatu wassalam gives us very good words of wisdom that we should always remember. He looks to the believers, some of his companions, he says, you should take a lesson from that, from shaitan. He said he worshipped Allah for thousands of years. And out of disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his a'amal, his actions, were all destroyed. So the Imam, he actually says, and I'm paraphrasing here, he actually says, and you, mankind, that we are living on this earth, we're not living for thousands of years. We don't have thousands of years to build up actions and amal the way shaitan did. The life of jinn is longer than that of mankind. Of course, mankind's life was longer before at one point. He says, but you don't have thousands of years to build up your weighty deeds, your good deeds. He says, so what makes you think that with the short lifespan that you have, and you can't amount thousands of years of good deeds, he says, what makes you think that you have time? That the 70 years, the 80 years, the 90 years, the 100 years that you have to maybe act, and again, it depends on your lifestyle, that you have to act. What makes you think that in between that time, you don't know when you're going to pass from this world, so what makes you think that, if I just do this one thing that Allah, He dislikes and He's displeased with, I'll make tawbah. That you will have actual time in order to make that up. Or that you take disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as something light. It says shaitan, for thousands of years he prayed, and thousands of years of actions are gone in one moment of disobedience. So you don't have 1,000 years. So you should take heed from that action. And of course, when Iblis, when he was removed from that realm, he swore to Allah, he told Allah, he says, Rabbi bima aghwaytani la uzayyinanna lahum fil ardi wa la ughwiyannahum ajma'in. He says, okay, I'll sit in the path. I will caused him to go astray. He has declared himself an enemy. And time again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He also says that inna shaitan lil-insani aduwwun mubin. He is a clear and manifest enemy of man. So if he's your enemy, he is strategizing against you, he's taking measures, then why are you not taking measures against him? To figure out that, okay, how can I achieve this taqwa, this consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Because He doesn't want you to have consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your actions, in your heart, in your understanding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in each and every point, He wants to deceive you. That, oh, it's okay to do this action. Oh, it's, unfortunately, sometimes this is a part of our way of thinking, the not having taqwa in our hearts, and then it manifests in our actions as well. So, oh, well, this action is just makruh. Oh, it's just makruh. I'm not going to get punished for it. I won't get reward for it, but Allah just dislikes it. Yes, this was still within the parameters of the Sharia, of course. But it shows a weakness to some extent within an individual's ability or his own strategy against his declared enemy. You should never think something is simply makruh. Oh, well, I just won't get reward for it, and I won't get punished. But Allah dislikes it. Because that's what makruh means. Allah dislikes it, but there's no reward, there's no punishment. And the scholars of akhlaq, they say that be weary of those things which are makruh. This is because if you get a habit with that, he says, then at that point it becomes easy to even go further, to transgress that from makruh to haram. In fact, they said that you should try your best to do as much mustahab as you can. Of course, do your obligations, and your obligations are sufficient, no doubt, as the Prophet of Allah, he stated. But if you can, if you have the ability, then do some of the mustahabat. Even if it's small, even if it's short. Okay, I'm not going to do the tasbih to Fatima after the salat. Maybe a person thinks, oh, that's a little bit too long. But after the salat, when I give my Allahu Akbar, instead of just jumping up and leaving from the salat immediately, then one should take some time. Astaghfirullah rabbi wa atubu ilayh. Astaghfirullah rabbi wa atubu ilayh. Astaghfirullah. 3 times astaghfirullah. Okay, now go. If you have the time, yes, do the tasbih, do some dua. If you don't, then, something even small, but consistent as well. Small, brief, and consistent. Why? Because this helps you to stay focused on those obligations. It is also in itself a strategy against shaitan. Because now you're not thinking, oh, well, it's only this, it's only that. In fact, when you look at some of our scholars in history, among them, one of them is Allama Hilli. And perhaps some of you may have heard of him or not, but Allama Hilli, he is one of our great scholars. He was actually a mujtahid at the age of 11. And he's someone that, again, when some of his students and he's teaching and they're asking him about, again, how he reached to this level that he reached, one of the things he said that he practiced, he says, I've never done anything that was mubah. He says, whatever I've done, it was either wajib, it was obligatory for me to do, or it was mustahab. So, and then the question came, says, well, drinking water is something that's mubah. You're not obligated to drink water. Of course, only if you're dying of thirst and you must drink water. It becomes obligatory. Other than that, it's mubah. So what about something like this? He says, so if I intended to drink water, then is what I did is I gave another, that if I drink this water, I swear by Allah, I'll give a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So he turned a simple action, which is mubah. Mubah means that you can do it if you want or not. There's no reward in it. There's no punishment in it. So he turned a simple action like this into something that he knows that by doing this action, it will also take me closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not simply mubah without any, this neutral or neutrality, because mubah is something neutral. No reward, no punishment. And also, it doesn't, it's not like makruh. Makruh is not that neutral, meaning no reward, no punishment, but Allah dislikes it. Mubah is no reward, no punishment, and there's nothing about liking or disliking. No reward, no punishment, at least according to the way it's categorized. But he turns something like that into something that brings about the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I will drink and I will give salawat. This is, again, the status of our ulama. Sharif al-Radi himself, again, when the one who compiled Nahj al-Balagha, when Sharif Murtada, Sharif al-Radi, when they were inheriting, their father passed away, and they were to inherit from their father, and one of the things that was left was books. So then one brother says to the other, he says, well, you should take the books because you are more knowledgeable than me. And the other one says, you haven't done anything wrong also. You've always lived your life. And he says, I've never seen anything that you've done that has, that you've gone outside of the fold of Allah's pleasure. He says, so you should take the books. And the other brother he says, no. He says, actually, you should take them. This is why? This is because not only have you not done anything wrong, you never even thought of doing anything that was wrong. Meaning, taqwa of qalb. And then, of course, one may ask it, well, how did this one know that this one never thought that the other one's done anything wrong? Again, this is a question, perhaps their status of understanding. Again, someone who achieves that level, and it's possible. Actually, a personal story that I have from the actual son of Ayatollah Bahjat. He actually narrated this to me myself. I was present, myself and some other friends. So the son of Ayatollah Bahjat, he says, I realized at one point that, yes, my father, he had something special. His knowledge and his connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said it was something that, he says, unexplainable. Yeah. He says, and I realized this for myself. He says, yeah, I knew that other people were thinking this and this. He says, but I realized it myself, he says, through an experience. He said, what was the experience? He says, one day I came to my father, went to his house. He said, I just heard a joke. And so he says, I wanted to tell my father this joke. It was really funny, So he went, and he said he sat down beside his father. He said as soon as he sat down beside his father started laughing. And he looks at his father, he's like, what are you laughing at? And his father said, at your joke. He was like, what joke? I didn't say anything to you. He said, yeah, but you wanted to tell me this joke. And he told him the actual joke. And he said, at that point, I realized that, yeah, this, he says, whatever his teacher, Sayyid Qadi Tabatabai, taught him and educated him on the path of spiritual refinement, then yes, he's achieved that. He says, from that moment on, he says, all I would do is that when I wanted to tell my father a joke, he said, I wouldn't even say it. I would just think about it, and I'll come and sit beside him, and he'll start laughing. He said, because it was pointless to try to tell him. He says, as soon as I went, he would get it already. But this is someone, again, who has understood who is his enemy, Iblis. And he has strategized against that enemy who wants you to forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your actions. Wants you to forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your heart, in your inclinations, in your understanding. He wants you to forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not even make effort to gain knowledge about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again, this dua of Amir al-Mu'mineen, I'll go back to it because it's such a beautiful dua. Allahumma nawwir dhahiri bi ta'atik, wa batini bi mahabbatik, wa qalbi bi ma'arifatik. Allah, enlighten my actions with your obedience, my inner self with your love, and my heart with your ma'rifah. With your ma'rifah. And shaitan, at every moment, he wants to destroy that. And one of the things I think that we could definitely benefit from, and as I'm going towards a close, one of the things that we can benefit from, particularly with at least just trying to achieve taqwa in our a'mal, because it's always good to have something practical as well that we can work on and that we can aim towards. With particularly this understanding that Iblis, he is our declared enemy and he wants to take us out of the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our actions and our hearts. One of the things which is very clear from his statement and from his actions and the ways in which he will try to make us deviate from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure, it is embodied in also his statement, his reasoning. The reasoning behind which he refused to prostrate to Adam. He told Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِّنْهُ خَلَقْتَنِي مِن نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتُهُ مِن طِينٍ. So I'm better than him. I'm made of fire, and he's made of dirt, of clay. He's looking at the apparent manifestation of himself, the apparent manifestation of Adam. Hey, we look different. We seem to be created different. He's out of fire. I'm out of fire. He's out of clay. And if we look at our differences, oh, well, this person's Afghani, this person's Pakistani, this person's African, this person's Mexican, this person's Chinese, this person, blah, blah, blah. And if we think that, oh, well, because I'm this, I'm better than that one. And the thing is that when we look at mankind, this is one of the biggest problems that humanity has today. And if we allow this type of thinking to creep into our hearts, then yes, Shaitan is winning. But if we uproot this out of our heart, we don't look at, oh, well, this person is this is that. إِنَّمَا أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. The ones who are the best among you, it's not because of their physical appearance, but it's the one who, again, is more God conscious among you. The Quran, the Sirat of Ahlul Bayt, alayhim afdalus salatu wassalam, when we look at their seerah, when we truly read their lives, and we understand that, yes, they had a methodology. They weren't swayed by shaitan. They didn't want the greed of this world. Even to the point that in cases where we see that, no, this is their right. But yet, okay, they gave it. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted something else from them. One of the examples, we don't have time to go through all of life, but again, everyone knows the history of Imam al-Hasan al-Mujtaba. It was his right to be the leader and the Khalifa of the Ummah. It was his right. God-given right to be at the helm of the ummah. But because of insurrection and because of what was created during his time, he released it. He gave it up. Not with shedding tears about it, no. So, okay, well, this is something that must be done in order to keep the unity within the ummah, to keep the ummah from falling apart, to keep, again, outsiders from coming in, because there was an encroachment also at that time that would have destroyed the ummah, that would have broken up the lands which were under the authority of the ummah, the Muslims, and gave it up. Although it was his right. These are the examples that we must live by if we want to truly become the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we truly want to, again, embark upon this first level and first degree of God consciousness. So I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives us the wisdom and the insight to strategize against our shaitan, to understand in which direction he is coming at us, and which, he may come at us at different directions, some with lust, some with wanting of wealth, some with wanting power. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the wisdom and insight to understand which way shaitan is coming at us, and to be able to strategize against our shaitan so that we can truly become the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa akhir da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala.
سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر